Alright, what's going on, guys? It's Chev over here on some more Warzone. Just gonna be, since the topic of the day anyway is Warzone, you know, makes complete sense to just be playing a little bit of Warzone, see what happens. Don't really care too much about winning or whatever it may be, but so the rumors recently, by the way, those of you that ended up enjoying yesterday's react video that I did on my old rage Taj, there's actually a couple other older rage Tajes. Like I could potentially even like end up reacting to like the Obsidian video and stuff like that, but regardless, thanks for the love on that. But yesterday we ended up getting some news. It was around like pretty late at night actually before we started hearing about it, so I already had my video out and everything with the whole react and all that. And so there was a report that came out that basically confirmed that Warzone 2 is being worked on, basically just a new iteration of Warzone. There's no like new update or something like that that could potentially, I don't know, like save Caldera or whatever.
You whore.
Shit, I couldn't see him at all. And he just, yeah, of course, right. I forgot, he's blind if he doesn't heartbeat. I have no idea where I even died at. That is super frustrating. I think right around here, right? I'm gonna land back, I don't care. Yeah, so there was a report basically that was explaining like, you know, more stuff that's going on and what their development ideas are and all that stuff. And basically they guaranteed that the next 2 Call of Duties are locked in and the stuff is still gonna be on PlayStation, all that stuff. We don't have to worry about that, but we don't have any information past 2023. But the idea is that there's gonna be a brand new game this year, brand new game next year. But the thing is, there's a rumor of Warzone actually having its next iteration, basically. How did I lose? Yo, Warzone has always been the type of game where like worse players end up like being able to kill better players. Just the way that the game is built, how fast you die, all this other stuff. The reason why Warzone is so successful because anybody can pick it up and then just like sit in a position and then just laser somebody down in the middle of a field or something. It's just weird. Not to mention now we basically have like a soft confirmation of that hit detection and other things like that. Oh wait, his loadout drop is underground. That's really unlucky for you, man. Honestly, that's just equal karma because you didn't deserve to win that fight against me anyway. So the funny thing about this is, so basically all of you BR players that like started playing Modern Warfare or Warzone and stuff like that, like hopped on the whole wagon, you weren't playing Call of Duty before this and shit. Maybe you played for a couple years before and then you went off and played whatever other BRs at the time. And then you came back to Call of Duty and Warzone and stuff like that to, you know, play Warzone and stuff. And it turns out it worked out really well, super popular, super easy, can get really good, fun gameplays and shit like that. It's fun. The thing is, you've now fallen into the same trap that everybody else that has been playing multiplayer year over year over year, knowing that every single year that you grind is basically going to be reset and refreshed in a certain period of time. Imagine this, Warzone stays alive for like the next 10 years or whatever. You're probably gonna have 2 to 3 more iterations of the game. At that point, you'd be all like on Warzone 4, Chapter 4, whatever. You know, Fortnite did kind of like a little rebrand and stuff like that and changed a lot of the mechanics of the game. Updated their engine, all this other stuff. That's what Warzone 2 is basically going to be. Now, a lot of people are like, oh, well, what about all the things that I bought on, you know, the original Warzone, blah, blah, blah. No, they have the excuse to go and say that it is now a completely separate game, and those bundles would be for Warzone 2, not Warzone 1. To me, in my head, I'm thinking that they want to get everybody over on the next-gen consoles so they can give everybody FOV sliders and things like that. How did this guy even manage to get 5 kills before he ran into me in the gulag? You didn't get 5 kills playing like this. Where the fuck did you land to make that even possible? Somebody's over here. They just hopped off an ATV. Sitting in a single building. Somebody threw a grenade at it, though. Or maybe this guy's firing something. This guy is firing a launcher thing from there across the water into the building. The idea is that you'll have a new updated Warzone with a new Modern Warfare 2 engine that is developed specifically base level with the next generation of consoles, and they'd be able to do a lot more with it because it's like starting from a different base, not worrying about PS4 or the other Xbox. It just makes sense in terms of how they usually had released their games, and that's the plan with it. They know that Microsoft is coming, that Microsoft likely knows everything that's in the, you know, pipeline or whatever, in order to agree with it anyway, right? Now the next question is, when Warzone 2 comes out, when should it come out? If you end up releasing it the same way on the 3-year anniversary of Warzone, which would be like March something. They ended up releasing Warzone about 5 or 6 months after the multiplayer was already out for Modern Warfare in 2019. Ended up getting the game in like November or whatever it was, October, November. Couple months pass, March hits, boom, Warzone comes out and revitalizes the game for the rest of the year until that was Warzone year 1 and everything with Verdansk and all that stuff. Cold War ends up coming out, we're still on that map. You guys know the whole drill. This gives them the excuse to basically be able to take the next 2 to 3 games and then shove them all into this next game. There's no possible way that they're going to be able to have a singular Call of Duty that was made at this point in time to have thousands among thousands of other guns, on top of the fact that like the QA testing is all messed up. The list only gets bigger and bigger and bigger. Frame locking issues been happening for like months on this game. On Xbox, this shit is still half unplayable. It's crazy. I don't know. Personally, I'm enjoying Warzone a lot more now that it's less popular. Oh, that's really annoying. It's so strange. Dude, I was playing Vampire Survivor last night. That shit is so addicting. I'm gonna grind it as soon as I'm done with this shit. But what are your thoughts on Warzone 2? I'm curious what you guys think Warzone 2 could even be. We would hope that by the time this comes out, people would be able to get their hands on a next generation console. Like, they would be more readily available than anything. That's where it comes in and confuses me in my mind. If they release it the same way, it's assumed that Modern Warfare 2, that is going to be coming out this year, Modern Warfare 2 2022, the sequel and apparently the finale to the rebooted series of Modern Warfare. There's only 2 of them. We're not going to go to a third one apparently within this universe. This is what we know so far anyway. If they ended up releasing Warzone 2 on the 3-year anniversary, that would mean it would still work for the older gen. And it kind of feels weird if they were to do it like that. I just feel like the older gen of the game is going to be even more unplayable. It's like Black Ops 3 on the older gen, if you've ever seen that before. If they're thinking of using all of this new tech in the new game and it's going to be this new thing, it's Warzone 2, big refresh, big upgrades in visual fidelity, creativity, gunsmith, we don't even know what's going on with all of that shit, all of the attention to detail and stuff that we had on the first one, they have to reinvent it. I can't imagine the older consoles are going to fare well with a new Warzone if they're already struggling on the old one, is my point. Oh, it ends up breaking him. The guy's throwing smokes, but it doesn't really matter. Harry Pickles goes down. So in my head, it's telling me that, like, maybe they're not gonna release it on the 3-year anniversary with Modern Warfare 2 2022, even though that makes so much sense. But that whole, it being on last-gen consoles, because they're definitely gonna sell Modern Warfare 2 for last-gen consoles, unless they actually cut the rope this year, but I really don't think they should do that. I don't know. I don't know what their plans are. We don't have a whole bunch of information. It's hard to talk about it like in depth since, you know, you can go way into it. I'd assume the purpose of remaking Warzone would be to be able to do everything at the next level. Would it make sense for them to have thousands of guns that they can't balance and all that other stuff? It's just an easy reset button for them. It's the same thing that they do with the multiplayer things. So now all of the BR players understand all the things that you bought, all of your stats, all of this other stuff, they're all likely going to be completely separate. And then we're gonna have a whole bunch of people arguing, you know, Warzone 1 greater than Warzone 2. Let's go back to Warzone 1. Honestly, Caldera's better than whatever the release map of Modern Warfare 2's Warzone 2 is. All this other shit, man. On top of that, we don't know exactly how Microsoft is gonna communicate with the player base, technically. Like the same people, the influencers that would usually have early access to things. Like, I've been invited to those, but I mean the usual people that end up covering it year over year. Statistic guys, all that other shit. Guys that can really, like, analyze the game after they play it a little bit, at least have a better idea than just some random person that doesn't really understand what they're looking at. This guy has the worst gameplay, I swear to God. Good thing is, the skill base here is just making it so his bullets do more damage than mine, so that's good. Whoever he runs into is in trouble. I'd definitely beat him in that gulag. I don't care. I had more movement than him, and I shot him before he shot me. He didn't land a headshot. Only thing that makes sense there is a headshot, but whatever. If it doesn't come out in March of 2023, and that would mean that it would potentially launch with the brand new game, which would be Treyarch's game at the end of 2023. It's so crazy to be talking about shit that literally we just started 2022 and now we're talking about the end of 2023. I mean, like, holy shit, man. We've just talked so much about like yearly cycles and stuff like that. It is exhausting, but it's cool and fun information. The guy's right there. You're looking right at him. What do you guys think Warzone 2 is gonna be? The way that I'm thinking of it, I'm thinking of this dude sitting there with 2 heartbeat sensors now. I'm thinking of like ridiculous bullshit. I'm thinking Modern Warfare with 20 attachments with extreme gun detail that likely will probably get torn apart and judged super harshly by like real life critics. Although Modern Warfare did, you know, do a very good job of like attention to detail apparently and stuff like that. I highly doubt that they would have that much attention to detail with even more attachments while still keeping it believable and making it make sense. Like, I don't know that much about guns IRL, but like there are some people that are like, oh, that's impossible to have that kind of stock on there because of the way that the fuselage and the battery cell and all. Obviously those are not gun parts, but you know what I mean. Warzone 2, I'm thinking of the most camping in ass shit, and the multiplayer will probably be the same thing. But if they're gonna get people back on Warzone, they're gonna have to do the same exact thing that they do with multiplayer. And they probably planned this from the very beginning. No. To your right. Oh, he didn't go over there. He went to the right. Why would he have rotated all the way over there? Hello? Oh my God! Yeah. Anyway, Caldera's probably gonna be on the back burner this whole time. Already it's at a low point where people just don't really care. And even if they do fix things, who knows if people would come back. If only you guys had realized Warzone was literally just not that fun from the start, but whatever. Being trapped inside will do that to you. Yo, GG. All right, cool. Let me know what you guys think about this. Is it gonna be released, you know, a couple months after Modern Warfare 2? Do you think it's gonna come with the release of Modern Warfare 2? Or do you think it's gonna come with the release of Treyarch's next game right at the end of 2023? That's a long time, obviously, so we'll probably have way more information eventually, but holy shit. They just said fuck it and they just hit the reset button. I don't know why I didn't think that they would do this in the first place. Am I happy about it? Honestly, a little bit, but at the same time, it's kind of shitty. But man, the amount of hype will be disgusting. The hype for Fortnite that came with the new chapters and shit like that didn't even change the game up too insanely in some instances, and it completely revitalized the game. I mean, if they do it right, they do it right. Fortnite did. Doesn't mean that Activision will. Well, maybe Activision under Microsoft can. Or it could be a complete disaster.